All right, we think we've gotten the kinks worked out here, but who the hell knows? Join us now on the line, hopefully all fingers crossed here in the booth, is Mark Vandeusen of LucidSportsFan.com. Mark, how are you, sir?
Good. How you guys?
Oh,
doing?
there we go. How about that? You know, and what's even better about this, Mark, is it's come to my attention. It was told to me before the show that you have dinner reservations at the 6 o'clock hour, and here we are just, pulling you along. You're not going to make it to dinner in time, sir.
That's all right. No big deal.
Mark, thanks so much for joining us. Now, we won't keep you long. We don't want to, we know how important meals are.
Yeah, Dave doesn't miss too many meals, so he understands.
All right, Mark, so I'm just going to get right into it. Tonight, the return of Kevin Garnett against New Orleans. Now, of course, for those of you who don't know, he's missed the last couple games with flu-like symptoms and a thigh injury. Do you think that they're maybe rushing him back a little too early, as they only take on New Orleans and Dallas the next 2 nights? Then after that, they face the Knicks twice and then Atlanta.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. But I think, why would they risk it if there was any danger whatsoever? I mean, why would we be smarter than them? How do we know more than Doc does? I mean, obviously, as we saw last year, he doesn't care that much about playoff seeding. If there was any chance, there was any risk, and he wasn't totally ready to go, I don't think they'd play him.
Mark, the Celtics have officially signed DJ White throughout the rest of the season here, and obviously, during the last few games, this unofficial tryout, he impressed them. What was he able to do to hang on, and what did they see in him?
Honestly, I haven't been paying that much attention to DJ White. I've been paying a little bit more attention to Shavlik Randolph, who they also just held on to today.
Right, yep.
He had 8 rebounds, actually, led the team with 8 rebounds in 15 minutes the last game they played. But also, when they re-signed him, Doc made a point of saying, I believe it pertains to both those guys, that it wasn't so much anything about those guys in particular, just that he wanted to keep his team the way it was. He liked the continuity of it. He didn't want to bring in new players at this point in the year. And especially, we're just talking the 11th and 12th guys, like what their actual skills aren't that important.
Right.
But if everybody's getting along well and the team's gelling right now, why would you want to mess with that?
That's a great point.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Shavlik Randolph, I've been watching him on the sidelines. He's one heck of he's a pretty good hype man there. He's getting up and getting excited. And so as far as their play the other day, now Malek and I spoke briefly about the Heat game the other day, a game when Celtics unfortunately lost by 2. The Heat were able to continue their streak. They blew a 17-point lead. However, there are some positives that can be taken out of the game the other day. So what's your final take on the Heat game the other day?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives. I was actually there. I was at that game.
Oh, great.
Lucky.
It was one of the loudest regular season games right from the start I've been to in a long, long time. And especially midway through the third quarter, the crowd started chanting Jeff Green.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that's the first time that's ever happened to the Celtic. And honestly, the fact that they lost the game, it was kind of predictable. Miami's been great in the fourth quarter lately. I saw a stat the other day. They've outscored their opponent something like 150 to 75 in crunch time recently during this winning streak. And that's the situation where the fact that we don't have Rondo makes a big difference. The game slows down. Every possession is so big. They have trouble getting good offense. But honestly, no Garnett, no Rondo, no Sullinger. Coming within 2 points of the defending champs at home, that's not that bad.
No, not at all. And you spoke of Jeff Green and the chance of the name, and I gotta be honest, I was watching the game on television, and it's not often that you can really hear the crowd through the cameras, and it was just great. But Jeff Green, obviously, career night. Hopefully, many more games like that to come in his career. Is it worth going smaller going forward and starting Jeff Green?
Yeah, that's been a big topic lately. I think if you're going to start him, obviously you're not taking Garnett or Pierce out of lineup, so Brandon Bass is the guy who would lose out. And I was looking at some numbers on this because everybody's been real impressed. Recently, Green obviously he started that Heat game, put up 43. He started the Phoenix game a couple weeks back, scored 31. But he's also started 2 other games, 4 now for the season, and those were the 2 games against the Bobcats. In those 2 games, he scored 10 and 14 points. So in the 4 games he started, he's averaging like 16.5 points. I think the bigger difference isn't necessarily him starting. It's just that Rondo's been gone, and he's getting a lot more minutes. He was getting, I want to say, about 23 minutes per game with Rondo, scoring just under 10 points. He's playing 8 more minutes a game now that Rondo's been gone, up to 31, and his scoring's up 6 points to like 15 and a half. So I don't think he necessarily needs to start. He just needs to have confidence and play significant minutes.
Do you think... Now, I agree 100%, and I think that a lot of people overlook the fact that he and not only him, but Chris Wilcox had major heart surgery just a season ago. And we talk about Derrick Rose mentally coming back with a torn ACL. Yeah, well, this guy, Jeff Green, had an aortic aneurysm, which stopped the blood flow to his heart.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, and everybody's seen that picture of him in the hospital bed now.
Oh, yeah.
He could have been dead, practically.
Yeah, and he said, he tweeted the picture, I believe it was 1 year, me 1 year ago. So, we're not making excuses, but let's cut the guy a break. He almost lost his life, and he's coming back, and you see it in bits and pieces and in glimpses. He's getting his swagger back. He's getting his confidence. So, quite possibly, maybe moving him into that starting position is really the extra confidence boost he needs, but on the other end, it's kind of the only size that you have, you're kind of forfeiting. So it's going to be interesting to see what Doc does.
And I think it's a big matchup thing. Like the Heat, they're not very big. I mean, they have big guys, but they don't play them. They pretty much play small ball.
Mm-hmm.
So going green big minutes works well against them. Other teams like the Pacers or the Nets that have big dominant centers and other big guys, it wouldn't work so well.
We're talking, of course, to Mark Vandeusen of LucidSportsFan.com. And Mark, we talked about the Celtics, and all of a sudden they've gone from just sneaking into the playoffs to actually having an opportunity to win this division. And you've written before on LucidSportsFan.com that they have an opportunity. You think they will win the Atlantic. Do you still believe that?
Yeah, I think they have a good chance. A couple days ago, I want to say maybe on Saturday, I went through and I projected out their record the rest of the way, the Knicks' record the rest of the way, and the Nets' record the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And if they just take care of business and beat the teams they should beat, which is obviously difficult, they often lose games. Like Detroit actually pegged them for a loss at home just because they happen to play the Pistons poorly. But if they just play pretty well, and the Knicks, who are in a pretty much a free fall now, though they did win in Utah last night, which I wasn't expecting them to, but they've got a bunch of players out. There's definitely a legitimate shot. If you go, take a look at my website, and you can see the individual breakdown of everything. But I actually think the Nets are probably a tougher competition from here on out than the Knicks, and most people are probably overlooking that.
Now, once more, you mentioned again, Doc really over the years hasn't shown too much concern with playoff seedings, but like I was mentioning before, so close, such a close race. 3.5 games technically out of that third spot. I mean, they've been playing so well at home. Do you think maybe Doc changes his mindset, or is he kind of a stick to his guns? He's going to do what he's been doing.
Well, I see two ways they can go with this. I don't think anybody realistically expects them to get past the Heat if it comes to that. I mean, they could. Who knows? But I think probably what we're looking at, best case scenario, is a repeat of last year and meeting the Heat in the conference finals. And if that's your goal, you either want to move all the way up to the 3 seed, play the 6 seed at home, then you miss the Heat in the second round. Hopefully you get the Pacers and can get by them on the road, and then you get the Heat in the finals. But on the other hand, you win, you get up to the 4 seed. There's no way, if they're got home court advantage in the first round as the 4 seed, I don't care who the 5, 6 seed is, Chicago, Atlanta, Brooklyn. There's no way they're losing that series. But then they got Miami in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends what is the greater goal there, and it's hard to say.
Yeah, all roads pretty much lead to Miami.
Yeah. Eventually, you're not going to be able to find a different route. You're going to have to go through it. Hey, right. Mark, thanks so much for joining us. This, of course, has been Mark Vandeusen of LucidSportsFan.com. Anything you got planned to throw up in the site in the near future that we can all look forward to?
Yeah, sure. The other night when I was at that game, there was one play in particular that really aggravated me. Avery Bradley makes a nice drive right through the middle of the lane.
Mm-hmm. As
he's driving down the lane, Udonis Haslem steps in front of him, gets on his toes, and just falls over backwards as soon as Bradley runs into him. I mean, Technically it is a charge in the way the league rules it, but I can't stand that rule. There's no way Bradley would actually knock down Udonis Haslem.
No.
So I'm going to write something on how I think they need to change the rule where you have to attempt to play some sort of defense.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a big man and a little guy is running into you.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. The slide in at the very last second, get taken out by a guy half your size. Big flop. Oh, charge.
Right.
Mark.
Yeah, so I've got someone on that coming in the next couple days.
Very nice, Mark. Thanks so much for joining us. And again, thanks for going through the technical difficulties.
Oh, enjoy
with
your
us.
dinner as well.
Where are you going tonight, Mark?
The Capitol Grill, actually.
Oh, wow. Look at you. Good for you.
Thanks.
Me and Dave can only afford the Olive Garden because he has a discount there. So that's good you're stepping it up a bit. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, guys.